3 months had passed since Enzo's blood stained the marble floors. 3 months of learning what it meant to be loved by a monster. Damiano's touch had become my language. Every morning, he woke me with kisses trailing down my spine, murmuring in Italian how I'd ruined him for anyone else. Every night, he held me like I was the only thing keeping him human. But peace in his world was a brittle illusion, and tonight it shattered. The explosion ripped through the east wing at midnight. I jolted awake, Damiano's arm already pulling me from the bed, his body shielding mine instinctively. "Stay behind me, Bella," he growled, his hand gripping mine as smoke filled the hallways. Even in chaos, his first thought was protecting me. My heart ached with the violence of loving him. We ran through smoke and chaos, but Damiano never let go of my hand. When debris fell, he covered me with his body. When glass shattered nearby, he turned me away, taking the cuts meant for me. "I've got you," he kept whispering. "I've got you." In the grand hall, a figure emerged from the smoke. Tall, scarred, dangerous. "Hello, little dove," he said. "I've come for what's mine." Damiano stepped between us immediately, his free hand still holding mine behind his back. "Luca Moetti. You should have stayed dead." Luca's eyes lingered on me with hunger that made my skin crawl. "You killed my family, Romano. Now I'll take yours. That pretty little thing you're so obsessed with." Damiano's grip on my hand tightened to the point of pain. "Touch her, and I'll make your death last weeks." The raw possession in his voice shouldn't have thrilled me. But it did. By dawn, half the mansion lay in ruins. But Damiano wouldn't leave my side to survey the damage. Instead, he carried me to the guest wing, settling me on a velvet couch despite my protests. "You're bleeding," I said, reaching for the cut on his temple. He caught my hand, pressing a kiss to my palm. "You could have been hurt. Nothing else matters." "Damiano." "No, Bella. Don't argue." His eyes burned into mine. "I've built empires, crushed enemies, ruled through fear. But the thought of losing you." His jaw clenched. "That's the only thing that terrifies me." My breath caught. He knelt before me, this dangerous king, and pressed his forehead to mine. "Promise me you'll never try to be brave," he whispered. "Let me be brave for both of us." Tears pricked my eyes. "That's not fair. I want to protect you too." His smile was soft, devastating. "You do, Bella. Every moment you stay alive, you protect the only part of me worth saving." He kissed me then, gentle, reverent, completely unlike his usual consuming possession. It was the kiss of a man who'd found something more valuable than power. A message arrived at noon, carved into a wooden box with 7 dead roses inside, 7 days. "Give her to me, or your empire burns." Damiano's men gathered, tension crackling. Alessandro, his second-in-command, spoke carefully. "Boss, the Moetti family has allied with the Bratva. Our resources are stretched. I don't care if hell itself allies against me." Damiano's voice was ice and fury. "She stays with me. Anyone who questions that can leave now." Silence fell. No one moved. Later, alone in his office, Damiano pulled me onto his lap, burying his face in my neck. The fierce king became just a man, breathing me in like I was oxygen. "I'm scared," I admitted quietly. "So am I." His arms tightened around me. "But I'd burn every empire I've built before I'd let anyone take you." I turned in his arms, cupping his face. "What if I'm not worth it?" His eyes blazed. "You're worth everything. Don't you see, Bella? Before you, I was just surviving. Now I'm living. That's worth any war." He made love to me then, slow and reverent, whispering promises against my skin. Every touch a vow. Every kiss a claim that went beyond possession into something deeper, devotion. The next afternoon, I found Damiano in the training room, shirtless and brutal as he destroyed a punching bag. Sweat gleamed on his skin, muscles coiling with each strike. "You're going to hurt yourself," I said softly. He stopped immediately, turning to me with that smile reserved only for me. "Can't have that. You'd worry." I walked to him, pressing my hands to his chest, feeling his racing heart. "I always worry about you." His fingers traced my jaw with heartbreaking gentleness. No one's ever worried about me before. Not like you do. Then they were fools. He kissed me softly, then deeper, until I was breathless. But the moment shattered when Alessandro appeared in the doorway. Boss, we need to talk about the girl. Damiano's entire demeanor changed. He stepped between us, protecting me even from his own men. Choose your next words very carefully. Alessandro's face twisted. She's making you weak. The men whisper. Let them whisper. Damiano's voice was deadly calm. But if anyone touches her, I'll... Boss, please. The gun appeared in Damiano's hand. You've been feeding information to Luca. I've known for days. My heart stopped. Alessandro's face paled. I was trying to protect you. She's a distraction. She's my salvation. The gunshot echoed. Alessandro fell, and Damiano holstered his weapon without looking away from me. Anyone else want to question my choices? Later, he held me while I trembled, stroking my hair. I'm sorry you had to see that. You protected me. Always. His kiss was fierce. Always, Bella. Despite the war raging around us, Damiano insisted on one evening of normalcy. He cleared the ballroom, lit 1,000 candles, and stood waiting in a black suit that made him look like sin incarnate. Dance with me, he said simply. Damiano, there are men trying to kill us. Let them try. He pulled me close as music filled the room. Tonight, you're just mine. Not a prize, not a weakness. Just mine. We swayed together, his hand firm at my waist, our bodies perfectly aligned. He looked at me like I was the only thing in his world. Do you know what I love most about you? He murmured against my ear. What? You make me want to be better. Not for power, not for respect. Just so I'm worthy of the way you look at me. Tears blurred my vision. Damiano. I love you. The words were raw, vulnerable. I've killed for you, bled for you, and I'd do it again. But more than that, I want to live for you. Build something that isn't just blood and fear. I love you too, I whispered. So much it scares me. He kissed me there in the candlelight, and for one perfect moment, we weren't a Mafia king and his stolen prize. We were just two people who'd found each other in the darkness. The next morning shattered our peace. I woke feeling sick, the room spinning. Damiano was beside me instantly, panic flashing across his features. Bella? What's wrong? I don't know, I collapsed, and his arms caught me. Doctor! His roar echoed through the mansion. Now! I drifted in and out of consciousness, aware only of his hand gripping mine, his voice begging me to stay with him. Don't leave me, Bella. Please. I can't do this without you. The doctor discovered poison in my morning tea. Someone inside the mansion had tried to kill me. When I woke fully, Damiano was beside the bed, his face drawn with fear and rage. The moment my eyes opened, relief crashed over his features. Thank God, he breathed, pressing kisses to my hand, my wrist, my forehead. Thank God. Who did this? His jaw clenched. I'll find them, and they'll beg for death. But his vengeance could wait. For hours, he simply held me, his face buried in my hair, his body trembling slightly. I thought I'd lost you, he whispered. For a moment, I thought. I'm here. I turned in his arms, holding him as tightly as he held me. I'm not going anywhere. Promise me. I promise. We stayed like that until nightfall, two people clinging to each other against a world determined to tear us apart. She appeared that night, slipping into our room like a ghost. Damiano moved to shoot her, but Alessia raised her hands. I tried to poison her, she said flatly. My blood turned cold. Damiano's gun didn't waver. Why tell us? He demanded. Alessia's eyes glistened with tears. Because I'm tired. Tired of hating. Tired of wanting something I can never have. She looked at me. You won, little dove. Completely. He'd die for you. He'd give up everything for you. I never had that from him. Alessia, I said softly, surprising myself. I'm sorry. She laughed bitterly. Don't be. I was never innocent like you. I chose this life. But watching him love you. She shook her head. It made me realize I never really had him at all. Damiano's voice was cold. Get out. If I see you again, I won't hesitate. She nodded, pausing at the door. Luca knows about the old escape tunnel. He's planning to use it tomorrow night. Consider it my final gift. Then she was gone. Damiano lowered his gun, turning to me. Are you all right? She tried to kill me. I know. He pulled me close. I should have killed her when she first appeared. But you have this effect on me, Bella. You make me believe in redemption. I pressed my face to his chest. Is that so bad? No. His lips touched my hair. It's everything. The next day, Damiano gathered his remaining men. He stood at the head of the table, my hand firmly in his, and made an announcement that shocked everyone. Tonight, Luca comes for us. Before he does, I'm marrying her. Silence crashed through the room. Boss, one of his men ventured, is this the right time? This is the only time. Damiano's eyes blazed. If I die tonight, I die as her husband. And if we survive, we start building something new. Either way, she becomes my wife. My heart thundered. Damiano. He turned to me, taking both my hands. Marry me, Bella. Not because of the war, not because of fear. Marry me because I love you more than I've ever loved anything, and I want the world to know you're mine forever. Tears streamed down my face. Yes. Yes, of course yes. He kissed me in front of everyone, a claiming and a promise. That afternoon, in the mansion chapel with armed guards outside and war looming, I wore a dress his men had somehow acquired, white silk that made me feel like a bride instead of a prize. Damiano stood at the altar in his black suit, and when he saw me, his composure cracked. Tears shimmered in his eyes as I walked toward him. The priest rushed through the ceremony, gunfire audible in the distance. Luca's men were beginning their assault. Do you take this woman? I do. Damiano's voice was fierce. Forever. Through every war, every battle, every lifetime. And do you take this man? I do. My voice shook with emotion. Even when it's terrifying. Especially then. I now pronounce you. Explosions rocked the chapel. Windows shattered. Damiano's men returned fire, but he didn't move. He kept his eyes on me. We finish this, he growled. The priest stammered, I pronounce you husband and wife. Damiano kissed me as bullets flew, as the world exploded around us. It was the kiss of a man who'd fight heaven and hell to keep his promises. Now, he said against my lips, we end this war. Damiano moved through the mansion like an avenging angel, me at his side despite his protests. I'd learned to shoot in the past months, and tonight I wasn't just his weakness, I was his partner. Stay close to me, he commanded. Always. We fought back to back, his protection and my determination creating something unbreakable. When one of Luca's men aimed at Damiano's blind spot, I shot first. When I stumbled, his arm caught me instantly. That's my wife, he shouted to his men, pride blazing in his voice. Anyone touches her dies twice. The battle raged through halls where we'd danced, through rooms where we'd loved. But we kept moving forward, together. In the grand hall, we found him. Luca Moetti, wounded but standing, gun aimed at my heart. It ends here, Romano, he snarled. Damiano stepped between us, as always. Yes. It does. But before anyone could fire, a figure emerged from the shadows. My father, alive. Papa! I gasped. He was bloody, barely standing, but his gun was trained on Luca. I couldn't let him have you. Even after everything, I couldn't. Luca fired. My father fell. But in his last moment, he pulled his trigger too. Luca Moetti crumpled, a bullet through his heart. I screamed, running to my father's side. Damiano knelt with me, his hand on my back as I cradled my dying father. I'm sorry, Papa whispered. For everything. But watching you love him, watching him love you. I understood. Love is worth fighting for. His eyes found Damiano's. Protect her. Always. With my life, Damiano vowed. My father smiled, then went still. As dawn broke, Victoria Ashford appeared with her forces. The mysterious woman who'd killed my mother stood at the gates with a small army. I've come for the ledger, she called out. Damiano held me close, both of us exhausted and bloody. We don't have it. Then I'll burn this place to the ground. But then, impossibly, Alessia appeared beside Victoria. She raised a gun to the woman's head. I have it, Alessia said. The ledger. And if you don't leave now, I'll destroy it and you with it. Victoria's eyes narrowed. You'd never. I have nothing left to lose. Alessia's voice was hard. But they do. And maybe that's worth protecting. It was a standoff that lasted an eternity. Finally, Victoria signaled her retreat. This isn't over. Yes, Alessia said quietly, it is. When they were gone, she turned to us. The ledger was in her hands. Why? I asked. She smiled sadly. Because watching you two reminded me what love should look like. I spent years trying to destroy it. But in the end, she handed me the ledger. Some things are worth protecting. She walked away then, disappearing into the sunrise, and I never saw her again. Damiano and I stood over a fire pit in the gardens, the ledger in our hands. It represented power, control, everything he'd built his empire on. If we burn it, he said, we lose leverage. Protection. And if we keep it, we become what we're trying to escape. I took his hand. Then we burn it. We build something new. He stared at me for a long moment, then smiled, that rare, genuine smile that transformed his entire face. You've made me soft, Mrs. Romano. Is that so bad, Mr. Romano? No. He kissed me gently. It's perfect. Together, we fed the ledger to the flames, watching decades of secrets and sins turn to ash. 6 months later, I woke to sunlight streaming through windows of our new home, far from the city, far from the blood. Damiano's arm was wrapped around me, his breathing peaceful. The man who'd once ruled through fear now spent his mornings making me breakfast, his afternoons teaching me Italian, his evenings making love to me like I was a miracle. He'd dissolved most of his illegal operations, keeping only legitimate businesses. Some called him weak. But when I saw him smile, truly smile, I knew he'd never been stronger. Good morning, Bella, he murmured, his lips brushing my shoulder. Good morning, husband. He rolled me over, his eyes soft with that devastating love. I've been thinking. Dangerous, I teased. He smiled. We should have a child. Fill this house with life instead of ghosts. My breath caught. Really? Really? His hand slid to rest on my stomach. I want everything with you. The violence, the peace, the love, the life. All of it. Tears pricked my eyes. I want that too. He kissed me then, slow and deep, and I tasted our future in it, complicated, beautiful, and completely ours. Later, we stood on our terrace overlooking gardens where flowers grew instead of graves. His arms wrapped around me from behind, and we watched the sunset paint the sky in shades of hope. Do you regret it? I asked quietly. Giving up your empire? Bella, he turned me in his arms, his eyes blazing with absolute certainty, you in my empire. Everything else was just preparation for finding you. He cupped my face with both hands, his touch reverent. I spent my whole life thinking power meant fear. But you taught me it means love. And there's no greater power than waking up every day knowing I get to love you. Damiano, I whispered, overcome. I love you, Bella. Not because you're mine, but because you made me capable of love in the first place. You didn't just save me. You made me human. I pulled him down for a kiss that tasted like tears and joy and promise. And you made me strong. We saved each other. Then let's spend forever doing exactly that. As the sun set on our old lives, painting the sky in colors that promised tomorrow, we stood together, no longer a monster and his prize, but simply two people who'd found home in each other. The wars were over. The betrayals buried. The blood washed clean. And in its place bloomed something far more powerful than any empire, a love that had survived fire, blood, and darkness to become unbreakable. Damiano Romano, the king who'd ruled through fear, had finally found his kingdom. And it was me. Forever. In a garden where flowers bloom instead of graves, where love conquers the darkness, and where two broken souls built something beautiful from the ashes, this is where their story found its peace.